Just a second to see if the time's gonna pop up. All right, how's it going, my Comic Chat Army? We're here with Dean and Tim, the creators of Superbuds. How you doing, gentlemen?
Hey, Cody, what's up? Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. How y'all doing today?
Doing good, doing good.
Yeah, doing well. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you. So tell us, what was the inspiration for the book Superbuds?
Oh yeah, let Mike take the pitch. He was the one that pitched that to us.
Well, so the initial idea, I was on my way back from one of the comic conventions, and mind was wandering. I might have been a little off at the time, and I started running down the what if scenarios if big pharma starts getting involved with medical marijuana and what the implications could be, and eventually like the side effects or the like experimental strains might lead to one where someone got powers. And then of course, it came on to the like, well, what if a stoner got powers? And then I went back and pitched it to Tim, and then from there all the other stuff came. Like that's when we really figured out the characters, that's when we really figured out like the world and the like, the funny scenarios we wanted to kind of see happen in this world.
Right. Yeah, and I'll say, initially I was like, I don't know. I feel like a stoner superhero. We've already seen that with like Kevin Smith and like that whole thing. But the more Dean pitched the idea, I'm like, okay, I could really picture this. And he basically pitched that scene in issue 1 where Danny, the main character, goes to Reggie, the drug dealer's house, and they have that opening sequence. And it was like, oh, we can open up a whole world. Like, who else smokes in this town? Because the idea is that it spreads throughout the small town, and everybody who smokes it gets this power. So all these variable people that you wouldn't normally assume are smoking end up getting superpowers. And because Danny is the guy who loves comics and that's his world, he's the one that decides to be a superhero. But everybody else looks at it at a more realistic, like, how can they gain something from it?
All right. And is each power different? For each,
yeah, everybody gets different powers. We haven't really gotten into the detail of why that is, but it seems like it's linked to a little bit to their personality. So the person that's a hothead has the power where he can melt things and his hands get really hot. The guy that's more chill, he's named Chill. He kind of makes things colder. Danny flies. He's a little bit, up in the air kind of a guy. One of the other characters will be able to like travel through space and time later, so that'll fit in with his personality. So it seems like it's matching more to their personality, but we haven't gotten into the specifics of why. But everybody does get a different kind of power, and you don't know what that's going to be until it happens.
All right, and how many issues do y'all have planned out?
Oh, great question. So we originally launched the series. We were thinking it was going to be 36 issues, which at the time seemed like that was a good idea for a limited series. We've learned since then that that's a lot to accomplish in an indie comic. So we scaled it back. Instead of doing 6-issue arcs, we're doing 5-issue arcs, and we have 3 plans. So that would be a total of 15 issues.
Nice. Are you going to put them in like trade paperbacks for each arc?
Yeah, that's the plan right now. We're hoping. So our strategy right now for 2020 and going into 2021 is to launch the last 3 issues 3, 4, and 5, to build to that trade back that we can get out. Just doing the indie market, it actually makes the most sense. You can make the most sales at like a convention or something like that, selling a trade back. It's just the better profit margin.
All right, and are you gonna like world build? Is there gonna be like Strand comics come off?
Oh, good question. What do you think?
Spin-offs?
There's always the possibility. I mean, we would love to like keep this world going as big as possible, but the way we wrote it, the way we have it, like the 15 issues planned, is like something where when you get to the end of it, you could be like, okay, that's the end of the story. But if something came and we wanted to like expand it afterwards, or even expand it during, and kind of do like what The Walking Dead did, and be like, well, what's happening in another part of the country where this same pharmaceutical company might be integrated, we have that option. But we're definitely we're more about the characters we're working with and like what their story, where that's going.
Yeah, I agree. I think financially too, like most people, we didn't realize this when we got into it. Like indie comics, it costs a lot of money. You have to have a lot of upfront capital to get started. So it's like we got to streamline and focus on the main story that we're telling before we can think about jumping off. I think it's a cool idea. We always kind of joke about like, oh, we could do this, we could do that, and there's a million different ideas you could explore. But right now we're just trying to focus on getting those next 3 issues out.
Okay, and you got another book you're working on also, right?
Yeah. So we have this other book called Grave Brigade, which we've been working on for a few years now, but we haven't been able to put it out yet. We just finished the rewrites on the first 5 issues, so that first story arc is together, and we're working with some artists. We're hoping to get that out soon. We're going to do a Kickstarter in 2021 and do 5 issues for that.
All right, sweet. What is that book about? Can you give us a little?
Yeah, Dean, you want to pitch it?
Yeah, absolutely. So that one is very much like drawing on the Universal monsters, but in like a World War II, Inglourious Bastards, Dirty Dozen type of style. So it's a platoon of off-the-book soldiers who are specifically battling all of the occult and monster type of supernatural elements that Hitler has like going during World War II. So he has someone working on how to develop werewolves for the front lines, how to create, this, or how to like figure out vampires, and like the Grave Brigade is who gets sent in to thwart his plans.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds very interesting. Are you going to do it like black and white, or is it going to be color?
Yeah, so we did I would say like a test of it, and that was all in black and white. And now we're actually going to do it in grayscale, just to give it a little bit more dimension. You can add a little bit more shading and have a little bit more options in light. But black and white was perfect for it because it fits that 1940s vibe, plus like those old school horror movies like Dracula, Frankenstein, Werewolf, all those. The Wolfman is what they would call it back then. All those movies were in black and white, so it seems to fit perfect for that. It makes it a little bit pulpy. It's got an action adventure element to it, a little bit of Indiana Jones.
We even tested it in color, and we were like really tempted. We were on the fence.
Yeah, it looked amazing.
We want to keep this black and white aesthetic, or like this grayscale, like to really give it that 40s kind of feel.
Or you could like highlight the blood, or like highlight certain things in the book.
Yeah.
Like the like Sin City did that. They've got like the one color added in.
Right.
Yeah.
So where can people pick up the book Superbud right now? Issue 1 and 2, right?
Yes, we have 2 issues out. The best place would be to go through either of our digital sales. We have it on Comicsology or Drive-Thru Comics. That's like the fastest way. We have it in stores in Philadelphia. It's in Brave New Worlds. It's in Keeps and Cowls, and it's in Amalgam Comics. So it's in 3 stores in the Philadelphia area, which is where we started.
Nice.
Otherwise, like normally we just sell at conventions, which is a tough time right now. There's no conventions. But if you guys reach out to us through social media or email, superbudcomics@gmail.com, we can always set something up and mail one out to everybody.
Also, if you tell your comic book store to order it, we do ship to comic book stores as well. We have a couple in, I can't remember their names, but 1 or 2 Portland, Oregon stores are it. We have it, and there might be a spot down in New Orleans near our artist, Tim Lottie. But generally, we usually have like a face-to-face with the stores before they carry it. Or if somebody like puts in a request, they might call us, and then we'll ship them like, however many issues they want.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it, too, because you're supporting your local comic book shop, too. And it helps build the word. They might get 10 issues instead of that one just for you. And then hopefully you're turning on somebody else in your local area to Superbud for us.
Yeah, all right, sweet. Yeah, I definitely told my buddy about it, and he was real interested.
Awesome.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
Very cool concept.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Yeah, thanks for doing the review the other day, too. That was awesome.
Oh, yeah, I love the book. I can't wait to see what y'all are doing in the future. So, what got y'all into comics?
Oh, yeah, it's interesting. So Dean and I met in college. We were both filmmakers. We started kind of writing together then. We were writing. We were in like a sketch comedy group. We started writing that. We started kind of hanging out, and then we found out that we were both like secret comic fans. Back in the day, like comics were not as cool or as well liked as they are now.
That put us together in that way. Like, hey, this guy Tim reads comics too. We should invite him next time we go to the comic book shop. And I'm like, okay, but he has to like ice cream too, because I do that every comic book.
Right.
Yeah, we went to school in the small town that didn't have a comic shop. So Dean would drive us out of town every Wednesday. We'd go pick up some books. We'd throw our money together. Everybody'd pick out a different issue and then go back and hang out and read them. So it was cool. We started talking about it then, and then we started writing together. And I don't think like comics, as much as we were lifelong comic fans, I don't think it ever crossed our mind to even consider writing for comics. It just seemed like a whole different world, especially like, you know, in the early 2000s, really just the big two. And then maybe around 2008, 2009, you started seeing that resurgence of Image, that second wave of Image that came from like Robert Kirkman and The Walking Dead and that sort of thing. After the initial guys had already had a lot of success and it was dying down, it started to rebrand Image, and we started seeing it as an opportunity for something other than, you know, your classic superhero comic. And Image started cranking out some really awesome books, and that was inspirational to us. And I think at that point we always said, okay, if we have the right idea for a comic, we'll come back to it. Because we were writing like screenplays, and we had a web series before that. We did 6 episodes of a web series called Wrapped. So we were already writing together, just in a different form. And then finally we had the right idea to go, okay, this Superbud pitch seems perfect for a comic. It wasn't adapting a movie or TV show to fit a comic book. It was inspired by comics and meant to be a comic the whole time.
All right. Since both of y'all are filmmakers, do y'all have any plans to make Superbuds on the silver screen? Or the
Yeah.
screen? Either or?
Yeah, we, I mean, that's always on the background of our minds. And actually, that was part of the initial idea was like, well, should we do this as like a movie, or should like a live action thing, or should we do this as a comic book? And what we ultimately landed on was like, if we do this as a comic book, it's our thing. We get to show it the way we envision it. If we develop it as a script, let's say we sell it, let's say whatever happens, it gets developed. There's going to be so many iterations from what we initially envisioned to what it'll eventually become. And we're like, this is our chance to make it the way we would see it. And so we really took our time, and we found, we did a lot of shopping around and like auditioned different artists till we found Tim Lottie. And then we just kind of like figured, we're like, you know what, this is it. This is the right look. This is the right tone. Let's give it a shot. And then at first it was just, you know, however many pages we could afford at a time. And then we finished issue 1, and then we kickstarted issue 2. And it's kind of just like kept going since then.
All right. When is number 3 going to go on Kickstarter?
Yeah, good question. We were originally going to launch it in July. Right now, we're TBD. We're going to launch in 2020. So we're looking at, you know, October, November, December, somewhere there. It is finished. We're just doing a couple edit things right now. We're fortunate enough to have a big group of supporters in the writing community. So we send it out to a lot of our writer friends and getting some feedback. But super stoked for this issue. The art is amazing. We have a new colorist on it, and it's just Tim's art excelled so much. Tim Laddie, the artist, and partnering him with a new colorist, it looks amazing. I can't wait for everybody to see it. We've put a couple like preview images out there on social media, and the feedback's been awesome. It's just with 22 pages of a comic, we can't show too much of it until it's out there. But hopefully pretty soon we'll have a Kickstarter out there for that, and then we're just gonna keep piggybacking off of that, do issue 4 and then issue 5, and then we'll have that trade back out, and everybody will get the complete story.
All right, sweet. Do y'all offer any variant covers?
Issue 2 had a variant.
Yeah, we did.
Specifically for Kickstarter, and issue 3 will have one also. And we'll probably just keep on doing like a variant cover that we do.
I don't know if we could see that. That was the variant for issue 2. It was just a Kickstarter exclusive.
Excuse me. All right. Let's see. Trying to think really quick. Oh, what cons did y'all have planned before the whole world pandemic?
Well, we would have done the Kickstarter probably this summer if COVID hadn't happened. That was our initial plan, or even maybe like May, like late spring. And then we both kind of felt uncomfortable like asking for donations or like for crowdfunding when it felt like at the time everybody was going through a lot of economic hardships, and we just didn't really feel like it was the right time.
Yeah, and nowadays it seems like, I mean, there's tons of projects that are really doing well, especially in the comic industry on Kickstarter. I know, like, especially the big names, Keanu Reeves has one out there, Scott Snyder has one on there right now. They're pulling in a lot of money, but even just like smaller indie creators are doing really well. So I was surprised by that. We kind of hedged our bet being a little bit more conservative, going, okay, maybe we don't go out there right now, but it seems like projects are doing well. So happy to see that. I know Mike and I have pledged to a few projects here and there, even during the COVID-19 thing. So we'd like to do that. But then in terms of conventions, we always do New York Comic Con. That's like one of our favorite. That's a huge con. There's a couple here in Philly. We did Wizard World a couple years ago. And then the guys from Reed Pop have their own Philadelphia con now. So we'd like to look at that. And then there's just a couple in like the Jersey area.
Baltimore Comic Con.
Yeah, Baltimore Comic Con's a really great one. And I know, Dean, you've done the one in Atlanta. We've talked about that, Dragon Con. Yeah, so hopefully we'll be able to hit all of those up in 2021 if things are a little bit more, I don't know, calm out there.
Right. And y'all offer to sign them on the spot?
Absolutely. Yeah. And we love to like chatting with people too. Like, I know if you go to like one of the really big creators, they're signing and getting you out of there. But we've got the time at our table. Come hang out. Come chat with us. We could
talk comics.
Yeah, we'll talk comics. We'll talk whatever you want. You know, that's the best part about it. You meet people, and you know, like you can interact directly with fans. It's fun to sell things online, but to have that interpersonal interaction with somebody in person is the best.
Oh yeah. All right. Let's see. So which one of y'all is the secret stoner? I'm just playing. You don't have to answer that. I'm just.
I think back in our 20s, it might have been both of us.
Right.
Secret about back in
our 20s. I
don't
know if it was secret either.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't know. Is there anything that y'all guys want to say really quick?
Well, I would first off just like to say thank you so much for your review. It was really, like, when I first started watching it, I was so happy to hear that you were receptive to, like, just the general, like, character development and the way the characters conversed with each other, and that's what spoke to you. Yep. Because that was the thing that me and Tim, like, the first draft of issue 1 probably had even more of that, and we scaled it back because we were like, there really is, like, not enough story in this. Let's add a little bit more in. But it was actually, like, really validating to hear that's the part that you liked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate that. I know, coming from like writing sitcom style web series where it's witty banter and a lot of that kind of thing, we put so much of that into issue 1 and then go, okay, we didn't advance the story enough. So issue 2 speeds up, and I think issue 3 is even faster. There's still a lot of funny things that happen in issue 3, and I'm excited for everybody to read that. And issue 4 is similar. There's a lot of funny bits in it, but yeah. So I think the first issue is all about that character development, and there's just a lot more humor in it. Everybody always reviews it, and they will say like, "Oh, I'm surprised that it was so funny, or it was as funny as it was." And the art is awesome. So those are the two things that we worked really hard on. So appreciate hearing that anytime we get reviewed.
Yeah, we've thought about changing, like, it'd be like Superbud, not as dumb as it sounds, because so many people are, like, pleasantly surprised when they actually read it.
Right. I guess people look at it and think that it's just, like, I don't know, a dumb stoner book, you know?
Yes.
But it's a really good book. I definitely recommend y'all picking it up.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Yeah, we definitely get that. And then people read it and they go, wow, they read it in the con and they'll come back 20 minutes later, a half hour later, be like, this was so funny. It was funnier than we expected. Can we get issue 2? So I guess it's better to have a book that people expect little of and then are surprised by than the opposite, where they have high expectations and are let down.
Right. All right, gentlemen. Well, is there anything you want to say to the people before we go? Or
Tim?
I would just say, thanks to all the people that supported us, whether it was Kickstarter or buying books in the cons. We definitely got more to come. There's issues 3, 4, and 5 planned, and hopefully they'll all be out in 2021. You can follow us on all of the social media. We've got our Kickstarter page for issue 2 is still up. Plus, you can check out our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. That's where we'll plug the next Kickstarter when we do issue 3. So that would be the best place to find us.
Yeah, please subscribe and follow so that we can let you know when we're putting that out.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen.
Awesome. Hey, Cody, thanks so much for doing that, man. That was so great.
Yeah, it's not a problem.